Everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is the 2020 version of Valley Girl. This is adapted from the 1983 counterpart, and this one is directed by Rachel Lee Goldenberg, and this one stars Jessica Rothe and Josh Whitehouse as they are lovers in the 80s that are from different backgrounds that defy their parents and friends to stay together. It's, a romance tale we've seen before. People with different social backgrounds, welfare backgrounds, they come together, they have this bond, it's unexplainable, but they just love each other, and they need to stay together and see what happens. But no one else likes it, but they defy all their, advice and everything. So, going into this, I was looking for something to review for you guys, more content to put on the channel while we're all staying at home, and, there's nothing playing in theaters, and, there's small, but you guys get the gist. A lot of it's on VOD streaming services, so I try to pick which ones sound interesting or if you guys want to hear a review about it. I chose this one because I like Jessica Rothe and the Happy Death Day films. I hope they do a third one, by the way. And so I wanted to see where she would kind of go with a romantic comedy versus a horror comedy, and I do think her career is very promising, so that's why I chose this film. Overall, this movie's fine. It's the definition of just okay. Really nothing bad about it, nothing great about it. It's just kind of there. It's something definitely enjoyable if you love musicals or something like Rock of Ages, where they integrate a story with a nice, soundtrack of that particular decade. And they have the characters sing it and everything. And it makes sense, actually, and I'll explain myself in just a second. But if you like the romance musicals, romance comedy musicals, that type of mishmash, I think you'll enjoy this one. So regardless of what I just said and how I review this film, check it out on VOD, support it if this is your type of film. So it's set to a 80s soundtrack because at the beginning of the film we have Alicia Silverstone, who plays the older version of Jessica Rothe, and she's telling her daughter on how she fell in love with this punk rocker played by Josh Whitehouse, and how they just, no one really liked them together, but they had this bond and they wanted to see where it could go, and it was a really strong love for them. And so she's telling them this story, or telling her this story, and we get to kind of see like how their relationship was and why a specific song is influenced by this relationship. And that's all I'll say, just in case if you haven't seen this. But she's telling this story and everything, and the reason why people break out into song, and I was trying to think like why the movie was made this way, but because I haven't seen the original, I'm just judging this one on its own merits. The reason why she's thinking of these flashbacks and music is a huge part of these set pieces is because, like, for instance, I'm 30 years old. If I were to think back, like, some of the songs that defined my childhood, boy bands and, like, Linkin Park, I might associate some of those memories with certain songs. And, if I was describing a story to someone or my future kids and I were to have it in movie form, I might have people bust out and rock out to Linkin Park or sing some boy band tunes. Like, that's probably how it would go. And so a lot of people associate memories with songs, and so that's why I think people bust out into songs with this, because music is a huge part of this woman's life, and she, as she's remembering and telling her daughter these memories, music just kind of bleeds through it, because that's how her memory that's how these memories are processed in her head. And so I found that to be an interesting way to tell the story, for sure. I was a little confused at first. I was like, they're busting out. This doesn't really feel like a musical, but I get why they do it now. And like I said, it's an interesting approach for sure. But the main heart of the story is the romance, and I do think Jessica Rothe and Josh Whitehouse have that chemistry for sure. And it's a strong chemistry, but I just think the overall story, falling in love, falling out of love briefly with some bumps in the road and kind of coming back together at the end, it's stuff we've seen before from different, backgrounds and everything, so it's not anything new. What is new is how Rachel approaches her directing style in having these colors be vibrant, the songs pop out and really kind of capture what her life was like. That's the type of stuff that I really enjoyed. The kind of visual aesthetic and the choices made with the songs, and how it does make it stand out, and how the music kind of fuels the story. That's what I appreciate. Not really the romance itself. I thought that was kind of whatever, but the directing choices and just the colors used and everything, it feels like you're set in this time frame listening to this story as it's being told, and I really enjoy that. It's poppy, it's fresh, it's vibrant, and that's really fun to watch. Like I said, the romance, it's whatever, but the chemistry is there, so I will give them that. And speaking of performances, Jessica Rothe is great. She's got charisma. She has that charm and just that likability about her. It's really hard to explain, but when you watch Happy Death Day or if you watch this, she just has that power on screen that you just can't take your eyes off of her. She's just really, really sweet and just a confident actress. I love that. She just does her thing and leaves, and you're just like, wow, she's really likable. And so she does that here. Josh Whitehouse plays the punk rocker. He's a rebel, all that stuff. He's good, and they have that chemistry. It's, the opposites attract type of thing, because she does have a boyfriend early on in the movie, and she's trying to find a way to get out of that. Speaking of her boyfriend, played by Logan Paul. Nope. Even with all the stuff, if you take away all the stuff that guy has done in his career so far, even if you just swipe all that away and you talk about his performance, I still didn't like him. He's not a good actor. He's not believable one bit as this jockey, douchebaggy, football player of a school. I thought he was trying too hard, honestly. He is trying too hard to be funny and to do all these improv techniques and these flourishes in his performance, and it doesn't match what everyone else is doing. So he feels like he's doing his own thing because he has his ego, and that's just what he does, and it doesn't gel well with the rest of the performances. So Logan Paul, if you're gonna keep acting and if we're gonna be forced to watch you, scale back a bit. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, everyone else is pretty good. The friends that she has her group with, they're all funny. They all have some great one-liners and stuff. And that's the other thing. This movie is pretty funny. The romance may not work for me all the way, but some of the comedy is really funny, and it caught me off guard. Some of the hardest I've laughed in quite a while, so I will give it that. But some of her friends kind of attribute to that. When it gets to the final scene at the prom, there's a lot of funny moments there with some of the DJ stuff. But yeah, I thought everyone else besides the main two that we were supposed to focus on with the romance all did a great job doing their characters and singing the tunes. I thought everyone had a good singing voice, so that's important. The dance numbers were well choreographed. Yeah, everyone just did a great job. So yeah, this is not something I would ever want to pop in down the road. I would rather watch another romantic comedy or a romantic musical or just anything. There are some great things there with the production design, the costuming, and the colors, and really capturing that electric 80s vibe, and having these songs fuel the story and how she remembers this romance. That's great stuff. The romance is okay. The performances are whatever. The main two leads are pretty good. I'm kind of just good, bad. So I'm going to go right down the middle with it and say the 2020 version of Valley Girl is a C for me. It's okay, but if you want to check it out, if this is something that is your style, your bag, and you like these type of movies, check it out. You might like it more than me. So let me know down below. Hate it, loved it. I read all the comments. If I don't reply back, I still read them all. Like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get updates on whatever I review. If you're more of a podcast person and you're listening to this review on podcast form on the Reel Me In: a movie podcast feed, subscribe to it so you can get updates on when I review anything. Or if my co-host and I have extra content, please check that out. But that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee. And tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.